I was screaming, get the doors open, get the doors open. I was seeing people behind me like screaming and crying because they had to get off from the wing.
Fear, confusion, and lingering questions. Reaction is pouring in tonight from passengers on board that American Airlines plane that caught fire at DIA. That flight took off from Colorado Springs and was headed to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, but never made it to its destination. The flight was diverted to DIA, where it caught fire shortly after taxiing to the gate. 178 people were on board. Officials say 12 people were taken to the hospital. Fortunately, all of them are out of the hospital tonight. We have team coverage for you tonight. Your reporter Gabriela Vidal has more reaction from passengers, but we start with your reporter Alan Janae, who is back at DIA tonight. And Alan, you have new information about the start of the investigation into what happened.
Well, NTSB investigators, 2 of them, arrived here at DIA today to begin to answer some of the questions that are outstanding in all of this. There is a lot to consider. At its core, what happened with the engine on this plane, and if there were problems, was it appropriately checked before the plane left Colorado Springs? But there are a lot of things to consider, including how the incident was handled.
There was an engine making a really bad noise, so I knew something was wrong.
On the ground in Denver, former flight attendant Terry Prager was thinking about the wild ride from Colorado Springs. Out the window, she and other passengers saw the jet was dumping fuel, a process that looks like this. A controller asked the pilot about their situation.
1006, just to verify, not an emergency still, correct?
No, we just have a high engine vibration, so we are cruising slower than normal for American 1006.
Recordings show no indication of an emergency declared.
Do you need any extra assistance, certain speed on the arrival or final or certain length final?
No, actually, we can definitely maintain approach speeds. We just can't do climbs because we're having a high engine vibe. So we've got it pulled back for a smooth cruise.
The plane landed safely, then taxied to the C concourse.
Yeah, as soon as we were about to get up and get out of the plane, that's when we started smelling the weird smell, and then we heard people screaming and saying there was a fire.
Out the window, flames jumped up beneath the wing. Many had to climb out onto the opposite wing where there was no slide deployed.
Normally, there's a ramp that takes you off or a slide that would deploy from the overwing exit, and it didn't deploy. I don't know why, but there should have been an overwing exit deployed.
With still no firefighters there, ground crews brought out what they could, but the injuries were due to people dropping to the ground. It leaves the question about, was the situation taken seriously enough? The chair of the National Transportation Safety Board.
If the crew had a fire in flight, I would feel sure that they would have stopped the airplane immediately after landing and evacuated. So what did they do? We're going to have to let some of the details come out before we can comment on that.
There are 5 fire stations here at DIA. It is not clear yet when firefighters were alerted. As to the slide deployment, well, that will likely be part of the investigation as well. The NTSB will come out with a preliminary report in 30 days, a final report in 1 to 2 years. In Denver, I'm Alan Janae, covering Colorado First.
That's certainly a scary situation, Alan. Thank you. Now, as that investigation gets underway, many passengers are still trying to wrap their heads around what exactly they experienced. Your reporter, Gabriela Vidal, joins us live in studio tonight. And Gabby, you talked with one passenger who finally made it to Dallas.
Yeah, it was a relieving moment for passengers who could finally make it home. The man I spoke to says he finally got on a flight after hours at the airport and made it back to his home in Waco after arriving at Dallas at 5 in the morning. A long journey back home that he and fellow passengers on the American Airlines flight say they're relieved they were able to make.
Let's go. Let's go.
It's these videos and images that keep replaying in their heads.
At the rail. My seat was 20C. I was on the end facing the walk.
Flight 1006 passenger Clifford Early feeling relieved as he speaks with CBS Colorado from his home in Texas, the day after his original flight caught fire after an emergency landing at Denver International Airport.
When we took off, you can feel like something was, the plane was shaking a little bit.
Everybody got really crazy about thinking the plane was going to blow up.
Early says he focused on calming passengers down and helping some deplane.
It was really scary seeing the smoke building up, the fire, people running, people with children.
while passengers like Magdi Abdelati are still processing the incident and how much better they think it could have been handled.
There is a plane on fire, and there is a ground crew who's trying to bring some portable stairs, and the stairs was too short, so children 10 years old were jumping off the wing, hurting themselves.
For Abdelati, it's an experience that could make anyone question flying again, especially in the wake of other recent airline incidents this year.
I need to fly to London for 9 hours. What should I feel like? This is just 1 hour and 15-minute flight.
While Early has questions about how this engine fire happened, he remains positive about traveling in the future.
You know, life is uncertain, and, you know, we're in God's hands.
Early does tell us he does believe some people might have opted out from flying after the incident happened because when he did get on his rescheduled flight to Dallas, it was only half full, which is, I guess, very understandable during this situation.
Hard to blame those people, and thankful that it wasn't worse than what it was, Gabby. Thank you. We have more coverage of that fire for you on our website. You can head to cbscolorado.com to see all of our reporting.